901, 902. Ooh, ooh. Wait, I thought we were supposed to bowl up like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, no? Who said we're supposed to bowl up like Percy Jackson? Hello, folks. Welcome to episode 26 of season 2 of the GOAT series. I'm your host, Jeremy Hadler, and today I'm going to be talking about the greatest Chargers player in franchise history up to this point. I'm going to go over the rules here, like I always do here on the GOAT series, which is choosing 5 candidates of who I think is the greatest Chargers player in franchise history up to this point all time so far. Criteria and rules I always look for in determining who's my ultimate GOAT for each franchise. Well, it goes with the accomplishments with the team. How they played with the team. How many times and how many years were they on the team? Then I go to the criteria, the rules I always look for determining my GOAT for each franchise player of who the greatest is, which is looking at the accomplishments with the team. What was their tenure with the team? How they play with the team? What were the stats with their team? And how are they on and off? And how are they on and off the field? So those are the rules and criteria I always look for choosing my ultimate GOAT here for each franchise player. I also do honorable mention just to give it out to people who just missed out on the list, if who would have been my next guy on the list here. And then at the end of the day, of course, I choose my ultimate Chargers GOAT. So stay tuned for that. Do not skip it right now here, ladies and gentlemen. Do not. But let's start with my honorable mention. My honorable mention. This one was a bit difficult to me, and I wanted to go with a more recent pick, and that is Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers played 16 seasons with the Chargers. He's a one-time comeback player, 8-time Pro Bowler, one-time passing yards leader, one-time passing TDs leader, one-time passing TDs co-leader, one-time passer rating leader, one-time completion percentage leader. His stats, folks, he has a 64.7 completion percentage, 59,271 passing yards, 397 passing TDs, 198 interceptions, 95.1 pass rating. Now, why did I put Philip Rivers here? Because he's not the greatest. He's not a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. He's like Eli Manning, who missed out on the Hall of Fame, should have. But it's very interesting how Phil Rivers was acquired by the Chargers because initially in the draft, the Chargers drafted Eli Manning, but Eli Manning refused to play for the Chargers and he went to New York. So they basically flip flopped. The Giants drafted Phil Rivers and they basically switched players. So Phil Rivers became to the Chargers. And Phil Rivers, he had good success with the Chargers. Let's not forget about that. He was one of the greatest franchise quarterbacks in their franchise. But to me, he didn't level it up compared to the rest of the guys or what they did of their impact to the game. The rest of those guys are legends. Now, Phil Rivers is a legend, but he's not the legend, in my opinion, guys. So I had to put him down below. But let's talk about his game real quick. He's very competitive. He has a lot of kids. If you look at his family portrait, guys, so that's very fun. He has a strong arm. That's what he's very known for. He's very good at pass efficiency, had excellent accuracy with his passing. He had great throwing motion. That was something I always asked me when grow up to watch him. He was able to read those defenses, and he had to fight for the job with Drew Brees for the starting gig. And he beat Drew Brees out, even though Drew Brees had that career-ending injury almost. And then Drew Brees became a legend for the Saints. So talking back off that last episode, but back to Phil Rivers here, ladies and gentlemen. He had great pocket presence. He was able to make those quick decision-making throws if, like, you want to throw quick and you need to get out of the ball before pass rusher comes right on him, like Willie McGinnis from the Patriots. He got rid of it right away. He set numerous franchise records, including the career passing yards record, passing TDs record. He had great enthusiasm, and he was very committed to his teammates to helping them out and to the fans. So that gives me that appreciation, despite not winning a Super Bowl, which he came very close to. He came very close to the one time until the Patriots had to ruin his hopes. So that had to happen there, but he was very consistent in his performance, and he was very resilient too. But Phil Rivers has to be honorable mention. I'm not putting him here up on my top GOAT honorary list, but has to be honorable mention here. If I had to go to the next player, he has to get honorable mention. I give it to him there. But Phil Rivers, honorable mention here, ladies and gentlemen. Next player on the list, this guy played 15 seasons, his entire career with the Chargers. He's a Hall of Famer here, ladies and gentlemen. That is Dan Fouts. Dan Fouts, one-time offensive player, two-time first-team All-Pro, two-time second-team All-Pro, six-time Pro Bowler, four-time passing yards leader, two-time passing TDs leader, one-time completion percentage leader. Guy's only retired by the Chargers 14, and he's in the Chargers Hall. His stats, folks. Now, again, his stats are a bit different because of back in the day, you would see these kind of numbers here and there. But his stats, folks, he had 43,040 passing yards, 254 passing TDs, 242 interceptions. He had a 58.8 completion percentage, 80.2 pass rating. Interesting fact about Dan Fouts is he's the first quarterback ever to throw over 4,000 or more passing yards in 3 straight seasons. 3 straight seasons. That's pretty good back in his day, given the stats that we just looked at here. So I got to give him commends and give praise to him on that. He became the centerpiece of that well-known offense with the Chargers, nicknamed the Air Coryell, which is a high-power offense led by Don Coryell, the head coach, in the late 70s and the early 80s. That was back in his day. And more about his game, he's known for that big arm, he had quick release, and he had fearless leadership. He was ready to go at it with his teammates if there was an issue, like they weren't playing right. He'd get right there and take leadership about it. So great leader overall, even though he might have yelled at his teammates a lot of time. But hey, he had a good leadership overall. Let's give some praise here to Dan Fouts because he was one of those guys who set the foundation for quarterbacks. And now you see how quarterbacks are nowadays with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, all of them. He was one of those foundation guys. You gotta get praise to him, especially in the passing game. Because like Drew Brees, when I mentioned him last episode, or Phil Rivers, like Dan Fouts, one of the main reasons to start that for those guys. So gotta give praise to Dan Fouts. Gotta give praise here to him. Next guy on the list, this guy played his entire career with the Chargers, 16 seasons to be exact here, ladies and gentlemen. That's Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates made the Hall of Fame here, ladies and gentlemen. He's a 3-time first team All Pro, 2-time second team All Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler here, ladies and gentlemen. His stats, folks, he had 955 receptions, 11,841 receiving yards, 116 receiving TDs, most career touchdowns by a tight end. The interesting fact about him is he never won a Super Bowl. He had it that one time with Phil Rivers, like I mentioned before, and another player here too, I'm going to mention in a bit, very close to win the Super Bowl until the Patriots had to ruin those hopes. Very close he was, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting fact I like to mention about Mr. Antonio Gates is he was on a Cartoon Network show, a guest appearance of Destroy, Build, Destroy. I remember seeing as a kid, and he was very good at building and leading a team there with a bunch of teenagers. So that was very fun to see there. Gotta give a little quick mention about that real quick. But let's talk about his game. He was mostly known coming out of college as a basketball player because he really did well as a basketball player and could have went pro in NBA. But he decided to go NFL route and decided to become a Hall of Famer and be a great player and become one of the greatest tight ends of all time. And he was a pioneer in the tight end position, guys, for like because tight ends didn't really get used a lot back in the day, but now they're getting more used a lot. Now you saw Travis Kelsey with the Chiefs. You're seeing with other tight ends, George Kittle, Tucker Kraft. I'd like to give a quick mention to Mr. Gronkowski on my channel. But with that being said, he helped utilize his offensive schemes and got the tight ends more involved, like you see nowadays at the tight end university school of Travis Kelsey and George Kittle lead that. But he helped change into a more dynamic position, which is pretty fun to see. Now, what is he known for? He's known for his exceptional route running. Had great, reliable hands that you could trust and get it into the ball, and Phil Rivers had to throw to him. He's able to create mismatches against the defenders because you see how big Antonio Gates is. That is a pretty huge man, and he would just go through those defenders and beat them every single time. He was a key target for Phil Rivers in his career, which became one of a great QB tight end duos, which is pretty fun to see. And he holds numerous franchise records here, ladies and gentlemen. Numerous franchise records, including the all-time leader in the Chargers franchise history. I'd like to mention to you again, folks, in receptions, receiving yards for the Chargers. Redefined the tight end position, like I mentioned again, re-revolutionized that position and got a more dynamic involvement. He got the tight end position more involved in the offensive schemes. Very good at blocking. He was very good when you had to do on a passing, like kind of do quick dump off play or run play with another guy I'm going to mention very soon, like Damian Thompson. Very good in that way. That was very good for him. He had also great worth ethic, and he was very professional too, ladies and gentlemen. So, got to give a shout out to Antonio Gates. He is very phenomenal and great player to watch, especially as a kid, and very good at Madden too. I like to give praise to him about. So, Antonio Gates has to be on this list, relation. Has to be. Next on our list, this guy played 13 seasons for the Chargers. That is Junior Seau. Junior Seau. He's a Hall of Famer here, ladies and gentlemen. 6 first team All Pros here, ladies and gentlemen. 6 first team All Pros. Unbelievable. 3 second team All Pros. 12-time Pro Bowl. 1-time NFL Walter Payton Man of the Year. Made the Chargers Hall of Fame. Guy is not retired. Unfortunate that he passed away. It was tragic to see that, but phenomenal player here, ladies and gentlemen. But let's talk about his game real quick. He was explosive. He had great athleticism. He was very competitive on the field. Great leader too. Always be a great locker room presence for the guy. And he was emerged himself as one of the best defenders in his era. Junior stats real quick. He had 15 interceptions, 33 passes defended, 11 forced fumbles, 47 sacks, and had over 1,480 combined tackles. His playing style, ladies and gentlemen, was characterized by his powerful tackling because he would just nail guys, literally, like you see Ed Reed back in the day. Junior would do the same thing, and he would really get after the guys. It was unbelievable to see it, the amount of hits and those brutal hits he came, able to read those opposing offensive plays to know what the scheme was going to be and go right at it, which made him one of the best Chargers players, which made him the cornerstone of that Chargers defense for so many years. Off the field, he was very good in the community. He was always inspiring to help fans out, and he's very passionate player, marked by both his excellence on and off the field once again, and his impact will not be forgotten. Will definitely not be forgotten to the Chargers fans and NFL. Not be forgotten. So, Junior, praise to you. Phenomenal player. Rest in peace. Phenomenal player here, ladies and gentlemen. Phenomenal player. Next player on the list, this guy played 9 seasons for the Chargers, nicknamed LT. No, not Lawrence here, ladies and gentlemen, but Damian Thompson, lightning bolt out here, ladies and gentlemen. He's a Hall of Famer here, one-time MVP, one-time Offensive Player, one-time Walter Payton Man of the Year, 3 first-team All-Pro, 3 second-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time rushing yards leader, 3-time rushing TDs leader, 1-time scoring leader. Now, that is pretty remarkable to do, especially in today's age where not a lot of players, especially offensive players, get a lot of points in the game, but he was able to do it, and that's phenomenal. Now, I know back in the day it was a lot easier for some guys to get, like Don Hudson, but hey, pretty remarkable to get that award. Pretty remarkable to be the leader of the NFL for one season. Pretty remarkable to be the scoring leader for that. Made Chargers Hall of Fame. Got some retired. And to give you LaDainian Thompson's stats, he had 138 rushing TDs, 12,490 rushing yards, 530 receptions for 3,955 receiving yards, total scrimmage yards of 16,445 here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what is he known for? That's Mr. Lightning Bolt, I also like to call him. His speed here. You thought Tyreek Hill was fast? Well, look at LaDainian Thompson's highlights. He is pretty fast.
Speed. I am speed.
He had great agility. He had great vision to see the field and dodge those defenders and block out and juke them out so you get through it. Very versatile offensive weapon, too, if you need involved in the passing game, too. He was very involved in that, too, so he's very good at that. He's known for his sportsmanship and his leadership, too. Great locker room presence. Very close to go into the Super Bowl winning a Super Bowl. Fortunately, did not happen, like I mentioned with Antonio Gates. Jr., Philip Rivers, did not happen because the Patriots decided to beat them. They decided to beat them. Well, that's Tom Brady, the Patriots, and Bill Belichick. What do you expect? So, hey. But LaDainian Thompson, excellent player, especially as a blocker, too. If you needed him to be a blocking sometimes, especially in the pass protection, and give Phil Rivers more time to throw it at Terry Gates, let's say, that happened very well. So, you got to give praise here to LaDainian Thompson. Not only is a great runner, but also a good receiver and good blocker, too. Excellent player here, Lacey, and has to get praise here on this list. So, Damian Thompson, Mr. Lightning Bolt, have to get praise to him here. Last player on the list for the Chargers, guys. This guy is also a tight end. This guy played his entire career with the Chargers for 9 seasons. His career ended short due to injuries, but that is Kellen Winslow. Kellen Winslow, the man who I argue with Ozzie Newsome set the tone and the foundation for the tight end position. Like I mentioned with Dan Fouts, Kellen Winslow is well more known for the tight end position. He's well more known as a player than Dan Fouts. I mean, despite the Charger fan base, but in NFL wise, Kellen Winslow definitely start the tone for tight ends. Now, he played 109 games and he retired because of his career ending injuries, but his achievements here, folks. 3-time first team All Pro, 1-time second team All Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time receptions leader, made the Chargers Hall of Fame, and he's in the NFL Hall of Fame. Praise to him on that. His stats, folks: 541 receptions, 45 receiving TDs, 6,741 receiving yards. Now, what is he really known for? Well, what I remember him for is he helped the Chargers win a playoff game in 1981 over the Miami Dolphins, where he caught 13 passes for over 166 yards. He blocked a field goal at the very end of the game with 4 seconds remaining, and that sent the Chargers into overtime to win the game. But the big thing about Ken Winslow, like I mentioned with the other players, is they never won the Super Bowl. They never won the Super Bowl. The Chargers have never won a Super Bowl here, they've shown, which is kind of remarkable to see that they've been around for so long they haven't won it. But back to Kellen Winslow's game. He had great size. He's very physical. He had great athleticism, like Antonio Gates, to create mismatches against defenders to plow over them. And he did that so many times, guys. He did that so many times. So not only is Kellen Winslow a good tight end, but to give you the interesting fact, he was good at special teams for that one play. I don't know about the rest of the plays because I never watched his entire career, all of that. But when I read about it, that's the thing that stuck out to me a bit of that game here, folks. So I like to give praise to him, mostly known for the tight end position, but he helped redefine that position. He had great receiving skills, have that ball right in place his hands. You didn't make a play. He's the guy to go give you that play. Now, if you talk about today's game, he would be a phenomenal player. He'd be like a Travis Kelce out there, the good Travis Kelce, not the Travis Kelce we saw the past 2 years, but good Travis Kelce. So got to give praise here to Kellen Winslow. Give praise to him. And now we get to my ultimate Chargers GOAT here, guys. To me, it has to be with Damian Thompson. You can't pass him up here to me. I appreciate with all these guys that are playing an entire career and are playing so many seasons with the team. Love those Rancors. Love them all. But you can't pass up LaDainian Thompson. I mean, what he did on the field was insane. The lightning bolt, that's what the Chargers logo is. He's the first player I always think of because how he did so well when you look at the stats, but you also look at his impact on the field and off the field too. He's a great leader and he had great sportsmanship. But to me, LaDainian Thompson has to be the GOAT here. Has to be the Chargers GOAT here. I just love watching this guy. I really love watching LaDainian Thompson play here, ladies and gentlemen. But that's all I got here, ladies and gentlemen. Leave in the chat who you think is the best Chargers player of all time. Leave in the chat who do you think should be on the list. Who you think shouldn't be on the list? Who you think should have been honorable mention? Who you think I should talk about more? Let me know in the chat. Would appreciate to hear your thoughts, guys. Make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Would appreciate it here. And that's a wrap for this video here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time on the Jimmy Hadler YouTube channel.